Hello everyone. Well, I'm going to be totally honest with you. I almost did not post this video. I recently had the opportunity to visit the Station Nightclub Fire Memorial Park in Warwick, Rhode Island. I arrived there. The park was empty at the time I went. No one else was around. And my intention was to walk around and try to express my thoughts of what happened at that location. I had been there before, as you'll see in the video, I talk about it. I had been there for shows in the past, as recently as only a few months before the fire. I had seen Dave Davies of the Kinks there with my brother and some friends. And I found as I started doing the video, the immense sadness and heartbreak just came flooding in. The longer I was there, as every minute went by of those 15 minutes of this video, I just found that it was getting tougher and tougher to hold it together. And I think I held it together pretty well. And because you don't see me in the video, I'm walking around showing the site. But I'm going to be totally honest with you, about halfway through, I just started to cry. I just had tears in my eyes and my heart was broken. And I think I thought I tried to express that in the video as best I could while keeping my composure. And I think I did pretty well. I do maintain my composure. You might hear a little bit in my voice of what was going on behind the camera. But I wasn't sure. When I ended the video, I said, gee, I don't know if this is good enough. I don't know if I paid an appropriate enough tribute to what happened to the folks, the rock and roll fans, the music fans, just like you and I there that night. And so I did watch it a couple of times, or listen to it, I should say, and I'm just going to go with it. I wish I was able to hold it together a little better, but I just found myself at a loss for words, folks, which is pretty hard for me, as you know. You know how I tend to gab here in my videos. But I was at a loss. I just looking for things to say, things to express my feelings, and it was very difficult. So at some point I had to end the video. I just didn't feel good. By the end, I just didn't feel, I just was losing it, starting to really lose it. So I got out of there after 15 minutes, and I just couldn't do it anymore. But I did the best I could. I hope in some way, by you watching this video and by me being there for that period of time, that I did do some service to honor and remember the victims of the Station Nightclub Fire. As I think I say at one point in the video, and I still feel it now, my heart, my mind, and my soul will always be with those people. And I think hopefully after the video, or for those of you that understand what happened at that location so many years ago, hopefully your hearts, minds, and souls will be with the individuals, their loved ones, friends, family, who lost so much that night. Anyway, folks, I'm just going to end this little intro now and let the video run. I do encourage you, if you're watching this, to go back and search on your YouTube for some of the news footage and information about the Station Nightclub Fire. And I think for those of you not familiar, we'll put everything into perspective for you. Okay, thanks again, and I'll talk to you soon. God bless. Well, hello everybody. I'm here at the site of the Station Nightclub Fire. Just pulled into the parking lot. I'm getting an overview of the parking area and the park from a little distance here, and we'll be going closer shortly. Beautiful archway entrance to the Station Fire Memorial Park. The actual site where the nightclub was and where that terrible tragedy happened on February 20th, 2003. If you want, you can freeze this to read it. Here's the plaque at the entrance to the Memorial Park. Inlaid bricks with the names of some different donors who donated to make this memorial possible. You're not going to be able to read this, but this is the plaque which has the names of those who lost their lives on that night on February 20th, 2003. It's a beautiful memorial and tribute to those who lost their lives, those who were injured during the tragedy, their families and loved ones, friends. Very peaceful place. I mean, you can hear the traffic on the road behind me, the main road that leads past this memorial. But the park itself is very peaceful and quiet. There's no one here right now. I'm going to walk around a little bit. They have these beautiful little areas, several of them, shaped like round, like records, with an adapter, a vinyl record adapter, as you can see right in the bench area. You see that symbol? That would be the center of the record. And I'm not going to be able to, unfortunately, due to time, show you everybody's memorial, but everyone who lost their life here has a special marker with their name and date of birth on it, and with the term "remember" just below. And a photo of them, which I think is very touching, that they included photos. I'm just going to walk around at this point, maybe make a few comments here and there, but it's definitely a place to pay homage and remember all the beautiful people who were injured and died during that tragedy. Again, these little areas are all around the park. And there's two more up there. I'm going to go around back to the center now because I want to walk up that center walkway towards these steps. Where I am now is pretty much a parking area when the Station Nightclub was open and functioning. And where I'm going to walk up the center here, I will show you where the approximate entry door was. I don't know for sure if where these stairs are leading up the steps towards the gazebo up top, the shelter up top, but I would say it was approximately here. Another donation memorial. People have placed some different memorials around here to their loved ones. Steps all are embossed with the caregivers, the volunteers, the state, the clergy. Where I am now is where the approximate entrance was to the Station Nightclub. A nice little sitting area here with some benches. People honoring their loved ones. Again, it's hard for me to come up with words, folks. I apologize, but it's a very touching place to be. A very I don't know the words. I'm getting a little bit emotional right now because, as I said, I may have said in my introduction to this video. I'm filming this prior to my filmed introduction, so what I hope to remember to say it in my introduction is that, you know, these were folks who were just like you and I. These folks loved rock and roll, they loved music. They came out that night to have a night of fun, rock and roll, enjoy good times with family and friends. Here's a timeline. Talks about different things. 60 years before the fire here, but talks about the Coconut Grove fire. 35 years before, 33 years before. It's just what it was here, what this place represented. I believe prior to the fire, prior to it being the Station Nightclub, I should say. I apologize. It was an Italian restaurant. Goes through the whole timeline of what happened after the fire and in the months and years after. And then at the end here it says today, remember, which is very fitting. This park itself opened in May of 2017, as you can see. As I said, folks, these wonderful people were like you and I think we can all relate to them, and I'm sure many of us have been to shows and concerts and never thought much of it, you know. If you've ever gone online and seen the video that was taken that evening by that news crew, people just look so happy, so full of life, enjoying themselves, enjoying good times. And to have it end in such a tragic and terrible way just breaks my heart. Because although I didn't know anyone personally who was here that evening, I do know folks who did know people here that night. As I said, 100 wonderful, beautiful people lost their lives here. Over 200 were injured, and countless others have suffered emotional and traumatic scars from what happened here in 2003. As I walk down the steps here again, it's just so sad to know what happened. As an aside, I was here months earlier to see a concert with my brother and two of his friends. And I remember walking in this approximate spot up the stairs into the entryway, and there was a narrow hall leading down to where you paid for your ticket or paid for your entrance fee to get in. You made a sharp right turn, and just over there to the right, approximately where that angel is, or just beyond that a little bit maybe, was where the stage was. Stage was just down there. Just beyond that, going back towards where that light pole is, towards the wood line, there was an area where you could get to the backstage area where the artist would come in and out. And I remember after the show we went down there to try to see the artist after, to get their autograph. And I just remember waiting there, and if you've ever seen the video, you can see it on YouTube of that night, filmed by the film crew. You'll notice when the film crew backs out of the Station Nightclub into the main parking lot here where I'm standing, they then go down this way towards where the angel is, towards the left side of the building, and they film into that backstage entrance door, hoping that somebody would come out that they could perhaps lure out of the building. And if you've ever seen that film, nobody comes out of that door, and it's just so sad for me right now to think that I stood by that door a few months earlier waiting for, at the time, just to tell you what the show was, it was a Dave Davies from the Kinks did a solo show here, and I waited for Dave for about an hour at that doorway, and after he had a little bite to eat, he came out. My brother and I got his autograph. He signed an album for me, which I cherish to this day. But when I think back to music fans, music lovers, rock and roll lovers just like you and I, and what happened on February 20th, 2003, as I said, I know I'm repeating myself, folks, but my heart's broken right now just to know what happened to those wonderful people, and to the people who were injured and will probably never recover emotionally from what happened that night. I think it's a fitting tribute here that they didn't put a Dunkin' Donuts here or some silly Chick-fil-A or Starbucks or something. Or God bless the people on the committee who got together and fought hard to preserve this land, to obtain this land, and create this beautiful memorial to those people, those beautiful people, music lovers, rock and roll lovers. God bless the people who made this park happen, make it a reality. As I leave the archway, the Station Fire Memorial Park, thank you for leaving on this, for being here on this plaque. Thank you for leaving. I'm sorry. I'm torn up right now, folks. I'm just not feeling too good right now. I didn't know these people personally, but I had been here before, and I feel like I know them. They're certainly in my heart, in my mind, and in my soul as I stand here and remember them. You know, we pay homage to places where our rock and roll heroes were from, or lived, or died. Places like Liverpool and for the Beatles, and Memphis, or Tupelo, Mississippi, where Elvis came from. Lubbock, Texas, where Buddy Holly came from. I've even felt emotion when I go to the Dakota and the Imagine Mosaic Memorial in Central Park. But the feelings I'm feeling right now here at the Station Fire Memorial Park in Warwick, Rhode Island, I don't think the closest I've ever come to feeling thoughts and feelings like this is when I was in Central Park at John's Imagine Mosaic, or near the Dakota. I just feel such a sense of loss and sadness right now. Thank you, folks. Thanks for being here. Thanks for paying tribute to the 100 people who died here, over 200 who were injured, and as I said, so many more families, friends, and loved ones who have been affected by this. And thank you to all the people who made this happen, this memorial park, which is so fitting and so wonderful. Thank you. Take care, everybody. God bless.